Tiffany Butler?
Yes.
Okay, you got to make sure you announce yourself.
Tiffany Butler. This is my first time, so I'm new to this. I'm sorry.
And you're upside down for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Okay. And is this Quenisha Walisha Butler? Are you here?
Yes, this is Quenisha Butler.
Okay. All right. Do you guys want to have an opportunity to talk about this?
No.
Okay. And Bracy Jamaro Mantro?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Bracy, you gotta have your camera on, sir.
I don't know what's going on with it. I keep selecting the button, but it's not pulling up.
Okay, Japhet Wayumba?
I'm right here.
Okay, where are you at? Okay. We're gonna have a problem, Mr. Bracy, with you not having the camera on, okay? So I'm gonna have to come back to the situation.
All right, I'm trying on my end.
Okay, Adam Forrester is a complainant, and David Martin.
We're here, Your Honor. Mr.
Okay.
Forrester, ready.
Yeah, I'm
And
here.
Mr. Corso and Mr. Hall, do you guys want to go into a breakout room?
We tried it a couple of days ago, and it's not going to work, unfortunately.
This is not a trial. I want to make sure everyone understand this is not a trial. Okay, so it's probable cause. So I want everybody to realize that. Okay, very low threshold. Mignot and Milo Pinkney, and Maxwell's here for Mr. Pinkney.
Yes, Your Honor. We're here together.
Okay, both are here. Okay. Do you guys want to go into a breakout room?
Petitioner respectfully declines, Judge.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, you got to speak up. All right. Destiny Webb.
I don't think she's here.
Okay. Okay. The burden of proof is on the complainant, the applicant, which is Adam Forrester.
Before we go forward, I have two brief matters for the court.
Yes.
Number one is I'll invoke the rule of sequestration. So my second matter is this. Although it has come to the court, this incident happened 2 years ago almost, back in November 2nd of 2021. And although we're here today in 2023, nominally on an accusation of battery, Mr. Corso has advised me that their position is that the accusations are sufficient to show that Mr. Martin has committed the felony of aggravated assault. And my understanding of the DeKalb County Magistrate Court warrant application procedure is that in order that private parties can't seek felony warrants, even under the guise of seeking a misdemeanor warrant. In other words, you can't do an in-run around that policy, that they have to go and have a detective, which they don't have, or other law enforcement officer to pursue the warrant when they're seeking a felony. So I respectfully ask you to dismiss this petition and ask them to go speak to law enforcement or a detective. And I'll do you even one better, Judge. If they do that and the detective wants to go forward, we'll be happy to sit down and talk to the detective and provide them our version of events.
Okay. Mr. Caruso, is that your understanding? Well, is it Mr. Martin's position is that you guys are actually seeking a warrant for aggravated assault?
So Mr. Hall hasn't given you the full understanding, Your Honor. The facts that are going to be proven today are sufficient to show that Mr. Martin committed the offense of aggravated assault. We immediately notified the police, and when the police responded, because of some misrepresentations by Mr. Martin's family witnesses, who, by the way, are still hearing everything that we're saying because they're in the big room and not in the waiting room, the officers told Mr. Forrester that he should seek his own warrant. So we did that. We filled out an application seeking the warrant. The magistrate court clerk's office misplaced, apparently, that application. And it was pending for almost 2 full years. No, sorry, let me say this, a year and a half, until we followed up and discovered that it had been mislaid. So we had to fill out another application. So the police did respond, and policy or no policy, Your Honor has the authority to issue a felony warrant, and Your Honor has got the authority to issue a misdemeanor warrant. There is no felony application calendar that we could appear on. And we've done everything that we can and what we're supposed to do and have been failed at every turn by law enforcement and even by the clerk's office. So I'm ready to go forward. My witnesses are ready to go forward. The evidence we will show you is sufficient for a misdemeanor battery. It's sufficient for an aggravated assault. You're going to hear about strangulation to the point of near unconsciousness. The motion to dismiss is itself an end around ruse because the statute of limitations will expire for a misdemeanor on November 2nd, which is only about 10 days away, I think, if my calculations are roughly correct. The statute of limitations for a felony is 4 years. We're going to give you the facts and let you make the decision as to what charge, if any, you endorse. And then if a misdemeanor only is endorsed, we're going to try to notify the solicitor's office quickly enough so that Mr. Martin cannot escape justice for his crimes.
So Judge,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Let me just say this. It's our policy in DeKalb County Magistrate Court that we do not do matters when via application for felonies. Those will have to go through a detective and be properly investigated. So if that is what you're seeking, and that's what the evidence will ferret out, we're not going to have this hearing. Okay. It needs to be held. It needs to be noted that that has been our policy. It has been our policy, and it will continue to be our policy.
And that's exactly what they're trying to do, Judge, even though they're trying to, do it and run on it. So we'd ask you to enforce the policy that has been for decades and dismiss this petition. And like I said,
policy, respectfully, the policy we will follow, but the policy is not the law. But we're ready to go forward with the hearing and seek a battery warrant then, if that's all that justice that Mr. Forrester can get today.
Okay, Judge, that's my point, which is they're trying to get around the DeKalb County policy by claiming it's on. He just got done, Mr. Corso just got done arguing our evidence is going to be an aggravated assault felony, but we'll just take a misdemeanor warrant on a battery. That's not the way the policy works, to my understanding, Your Honor. I didn't interrupt you, Mr. Corso. I didn't interrupt you, Mr. Corso.
Mr. Corso, one of the things I said about in the beginning, we respect each other. Okay. Once you finish, he began, and of course you have an opportunity. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break. And I'm going to do some research, and I'm going to get back with you. Okay.
Before you break
Let me
on,
find you.
can I be heard?
Yes.
I was just going to say that everybody knows that a battery is a visible injury, and we're going to show that. The fact that there is more crime that Mr. Martin committed does not mean that we should be denied the opportunity to seek the battery warrant.
Okay.
Judge, my piece. I'm sorry, Judge.
No, I'm going to come back to you guys. I'm going to do a little research, but let me find out for case number 5. Who also Mr. Maxwell, Attorney Maxwell, and Attorney McNaught. You guys step up to the plate.
Are we ready to proceed, Judge?
Well, yes, we are.
Okay.
And I'm going to come back to Mr. Forrest and Martin. I'm going to come back to you guys after this hearing, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes.
May I proceed, Judge?
Yes.
Okay. May it please this court, my name is Marcia Williams-Mignot. I am a local attorney here in Georgia. I've sought an application I petitioned for a warrant for the arrest of the respondent in this case, Mr. Milo Pinkney, and I have submitted the evidence to the court pursuant to the court's instructions. On or about 2013, our office purchased the building we're located in, which is next door to the building where Mr. Milo Pinkney operates several businesses. In 2015, they purchased the building next door, Judge, and we have been living in pure hell since 2015.
Your Honor, is
Despite
this
that,
related
I joined the
to
court's
the actual application, or she's giving you background history that's not relevant to what's going on right now? I ask Ms. Muñeira to please go ahead and talk about the contents of the application, please. The back history is
I would
not really
definitely want you
necessary.
to focus on the application itself.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge. On June 1st of 2023 at 9:30 a.m., Mr. Pinkney sent an unwanted email for the purpose of harassing myself. I can show the court if I can share my screen, the evidence. May I do so at this time?
Yes.
Judge,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Attorney, Marcia.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you sent it in to us? We normally do not allow
Yeah.
the sharing of screen from everybody, the participants. I can get it and send it to the judge, and he can share his screen and do it
Yes.
that way. I will
Yes.
put the email address in the chat, and that goes for everybody. If
We've already sent it. You should have already received it last week.
Last week. Okay.
Let me get back to Mr. Caruso and Mr. Hall. Attorney
Yes,
Caruso
sir.
and Mr. Hall.
Yes, sir.
Okay, listen, I've done some research on it, and what I'm going to do, this matter is going to be dismissed because the allegation that you are seeking is a felony, aggravated assault. And in those situations, that has to be sought by a post-certified law enforcement. That is the policy of DeKalb County, has been the policy of DeKalb County. So I'm going to dismiss it with the ability for you, Mr. Caruso, to have your client and you reach out to a post-certified law enforcement detective in order to effectuate this matter.
Judge, I understand
Thank
the
you.
court ruling, and I respectfully remind the court that the offense of battery we are ready to prove today with photographs and testimony. I have 6 witnesses ready.
I'm sorry, Mr. Caruso, I understand what you're saying, but one of the things that you indicated earlier was that the evidence that you have was consistent with aggravated assault. Okay. And that's what initially that's what you were basically said, but you said you were willing to go ahead and come in here and just do a battery, but that's not how it works. So for me, I think out of abundance of caution, I think it needs to be that you need to go seek this matter through a post-certified law enforcement, being a detective of DeKalb and or being of a city of Atlanta in order to effectuate that. Okay.
Yes, sir. And just for a final note, in our application of August 2022, it laid out very specifically what the facts were. So there's no unfair surprise here for Mr. Hall and Mr. Martin. In fact, I told them in advance and gave them a summary of all the witness testimony. But we'll see if we can get a detective to do what the responding officers refused to do.
Okay.
Good evening.
Judge, may we be excused, please?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Good to see Your Honor.
Please let your witnesses know so that
Yes.
they can just drop off from the waiting room.
All right, will do.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Madam Clerk. Have a nice
Thank
evening.
All right. Ms. Maggot,
Yes, Judge.
I got your information.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Maxwell, did you receive that information?
Sure.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm currently just taking a look at that information.
Okay. All right. All right. So Ms. Maggot, go ahead and
Let me just make sure 1 second, because now 3 more emails have popped in. Miss Attorney Marcia, did you send more than one with different evidence, or was
No, it's the exact same one. We were concerned it wasn't coming through.
Got it. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
all right, Ms. Maggot.
Thank you, Judge. On June 1st, 2023, Judge, at 9:30 a.m., I received an unwanted email for the purpose of harassing me from Mr. Pinkney. The email is attached to the evidence that was provided to the court, Exhibit 3, and says, "I want to thank you for your most satisfying read this morning. Karma is real and you're the most deserving of it. Have a great day." That correspondence was followed up by another June 1st, 2023, 9:32 a.m. Mr. Pinkney received an automatic reply message to his message, which caused him to send a second unwanted email for the purpose of harassing me. That is depicted in Exhibit 4, where he came back and said, if the system works at all. I'm sorry, Judge.
Yeah, you broke up. Go ahead. I
Okay.
got you.
The second unwanted email came through on the same day, Judge, June 1st, 2023 at 9:30 a.m., where Mr. Pinkney states, if the system works at all, you will be on leave for at least a year in order to harass me. It didn't stop there, Judge. Exhibit 5 shows that at 9:55 a.m., Mr. Pinkney went to my publicly published an unwanted comment on my Facebook page for the purpose of harassing me. It's depicted in Exhibit 5. He was not satisfied with just saying Blacks who cry racism when they are clearly at fault hurt all other Blacks that have genuinely been subject to racial harm. You were sanctioned because you were unethical, and when confronted with your error, stood defiant and obstinate. The recommended 2-year suspension was little more than a slap on your hand relative to your behavior. I hope this next case secures the discipline that is truly warranted. That was not sufficient. At 10 a.m., he went back again on the Facebook page, posted another one on the same June 1st. Blacks who cried racism when they are clearly at fault hurt all other Blacks, reiterated it, but added additional language at the bottom that stated that I hope the next case secures the discipline that is truly warranted. I did not realize that that statement he made was that he was going to file an unwarranted and invalid bar complaint against me and stated that you represent what decent people find disgusting in lawyers. You lie freely, you have no moral or ethical compass, and then aggravate the compound offense with false Christian righteousness. There's a special place, the likes of you. He also went back again at 10:03 a.m. on my Facebook page, posted the same comments, but added additional harassing statements to it that said there's a special place for you. See disciplinary board docket number 7391 and make your own assessment. It didn't stop there, Judge, because I called law enforcement. After calling law enforcement, the law enforcement officer, Officer Antonetti, who was supposed to be present to testify in the case today, and I don't know if he's on the call as a witness. Officer Antonetti went over there, spoke to Mr. Pinkney, advised Mr. Pinkney not to contact me, to leave me alone, that it would be harassing. Officer Antonetti did a police report, which is depicted in Plaintiff's Exhibit 6. Notwithstanding the police officer going over and informing Mr. Pinkney that his contact was unwarranted, he was to leave me alone. Mr. Pinkney sends another email, June 1st, 2023 at 12:45 p.m. It's depicted in Exhibit 7. Exhibit 7 says, a cop came by my office and said that you complained of, quote, harassment by email. I provided him with the same information I'm providing you now. What is legally defined as harassment, question mark. The civil harassment laws say, quote, harassment, quote, end quote, is unlawful violence like assault or battery or stalking or a credible threat of violence. And the violence or threat seriously scare, annoy, or harass someone, and there's no valid reason for it. As you can see, an email is not harassment. So the harassment continued throughout the day, Judge. That was 12:45 p.m. And after law enforcement had gone and told Mr. Pinkney to leave me alone and not to send any additional correspondence to me. The police report is also depicted in Exhibit 6, Judge, which shows that the officer spoke to Mr. Pinkney, the neighboring property, and advised him to stop. On August 21st, Judge, despite police going out, once Mr. Pinkney was noticed that I was seeking a warrant for his arrest for harassment pursuant to in violation of OCGA 16-1139.1 and also for stalking in violation of OCGA 16-5-90, Mr. Pinkney saw me coming in the parking lot from court one day on August the 21st, and Mr. Pinkney says to me and yells across there, after being told, after threatening me, Mr. Pinkney was yelling and saying, are you afraid, Marsha, are you afraid of me now? And then jumps into the passenger seat of what was a gray, charcoal colored gray Tesla vehicle and left the parking lot. I've submitted the video to the court to substantiate the proof because our facility has cameras and we recorded him leaving, going up the street. He was the passenger in the vehicle. I don't know who was driving the vehicle, but that was not enough, Judge. If you look at Exhibit 9, September the 18th, 2023, prior to today's hearing, Mr. Pinkney, via his agent, Mr. Maxwell Ndungo, who is currently representing him in tonight's hearing.
As an attorney, please. I'm
sorry?
an attorney, so you can refer to me as an attorney. That's appropriate. Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Maxwell Ndungo sends what's depicted in Exhibit 9, a bar complaint that he filed, a grievance filed against me in harassment and further harassment. The grievance was dismissed by the State Bar of Georgia, as you can see depicted in Exhibit 9. But now when you look in context to his text, his email correspondence, when he says, I hope the next grievance gets you disbarred, this is what he meant, because he filed this grievance after sending that correspondence in June of 2023. He sends this correspondence via his agent. So the harassment continues, and he believes that if it continues through his current counsel, that it still would not be harassment. Your Honor, I respectfully request, it doesn't end there, Judge. On September the 29th, I am returning from court. And on September 29th of 2023, I was turning into the street that both our properties are located on. And Mr. Pinkney was coming out of the street to the main road. And I was turning left to come, and Mr. Pinkney tries to head on with my vehicle using a gold pickup truck that he was driving, cutting out in front of my car. And thank God, because if there were other cars coming, Judge, it would have been a catastrophe that day, because we could have killed, if not each other, we could have killed other motorists on the street. Mr. Pinkney's conduct has risen to the level where my staff is afraid, our office is afraid. He's just not going to stop. And I don't believe he thinks the law applies to him. And we're respectfully requesting, Judge, that based on the probable cause and the preponderance of the evidence that we've presented to this court today, including but not limited to my affidavit, that a warrant for Mr. Pinkney's arrest for the two statutes that I've cited to the court, 161139.1 and 16590, are warranted. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor. For just a little context, this is not the first instance we've had with Ms. Monnier, and as per history, she tends to exaggerate. It's on record and so forth. So really not surprised at what she's saying. With regards to this harassment information, OCGA 16590 says the term harassment intimidation means a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person which causes emotional distress by placing such person in a reasonable fear for such person's safety or the safety of a reasonable member of his or her immediate family. So the email that Mr. Pinkney initially sent was a picture. And what this is relating to is a complaint by the bar against Ms. Monnier. And so his comment was, I want to thank you for your most satisfying read this morning. All he said is, thank you for that. That's public information that this is ongoing right now. And therefore he provided comment to that. Again, with regards to what the cop said, again, Ms. Monnier mentioned what was relayed to Mr. Pinkney. The police officer is not here. That is hearsay unless the officer is here to testify as to what was stated. Which
Mr. Maxwell, I'm sorry, Mr. Maxwell, hearsay can be used in the probable cause hearings. So I want you to, that can be used. So I understand what you're saying, but hearsay can be used in the probable cause hearings.
Okay, so then going further, more the email that was followed about what harassment is, civil harassment. If you're looking at OCGA 1619.39, it says contact with a person repeatedly for purposes of harassing, molesting, threatening, and intimidating. All Mr. Pinkney did was clarify that there was no harassment. He just sent an email. That is all that he sent to her.
She had the option to block.
And she had the option to ignore that. I mean, we're literally right next door to each other. So she has the ability to ignore Mr. Pinkney, which she has. I'm confused as to why she's unable to not respond to that, to the email as well. And with regards to all this other stuff regarding the bar complaint, I, as an attorney, did provide that grievance form. I can do that. It's within my role that ability I'm able to do so as an attorney and a member of the bar. If she has an issue with that, she should address it with me. And unless she knows exactly what Mr. Pinkney is thinking and or saying, all she's doing is just making something up, and which she has a history of doing. And we very much aware that this had happened before.
All right. I hear your argument. Do you have any evidence, Mr. Maxwell, that you're going to put up?
The evidence, regarding the date, Mr. Pinkney, on the video that she showed, we were leaving the office. As far as what she said, did you ever recall saying that to her, Mr. Pinkney?
You were in the car next to me. I
didn't heir that. So with her saying that he made certain, I was.
Mr. Maxwell, are you a witness or are you his attorney?
I'm his attorney. I was also there that day because that's my vehicle that she's showing in the video. So
why don't you swear your client in?
I'm sorry? Yeah.
Swear your client in?
Mr. Pinkney, can you please raise your right hand? Do you tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth to help you?
Absolutely.
Mr. Pinkney, did you relay that information that had you made any threatening statements to Ms. Monet on that day?
I've made no threatening statements to her. As you are fully aware, we have an ongoing case, and with her propensity for drama and fabrication, I wasn't going to give her any cause to do so. Did I send her an email? Absolutely. The emails I sent to her were non-threatening, and she always has the option to block my email address and not receive them. This is just another example of her dramatic misuse of the judicial system.
And with regards to the incident that she said on the 29th, do you even recall seeing her on that day?
No, I don't. I don't recall. But I could possibly. We see her every day. I mean, our offices are next door to one another.
No further questions for right now, Your Honor.
And I mean, Mr. Maxwell, I never heard you. Miss Minot was actually representing herself in this matter, but she represents herself as a person. So you had opportunity to ask any questions. If you want to ask her any questions and cross-examine her.
Well, I mean, my question is, Ms. Monet, why are you referring to me as an agent? You know I'm a licensed attorney, number one. I am an attorney. So please give me that respect at least. And secondly, you are for this assertion that all these things with regards to the bar complaint and everything else was just for a way for Mr. Pinkney to harass you? What makes you believe that? And you know what? Actually, giving me an answer. Let me ask you this question, Ms. Monet. The information that Mr. Pinkney provided, a screenshot of the recommendation of discipline, was your name even in that? In the photo that he provided in the initial email?
Yeah.
Are you referring to Exhibit 3, sir?
I don't know what number your exhibit is. I just know that that picture that in the email that Mr. Pinkney sent had a picture of recommendation of discipline. Was your name on that piece of paper?
I have an Exhibit 3 that my name was on, yes. He directed his email to me.
That's not the question, Ms. Mignot. The question is in the specific picture, recommendation of discipline. Was your name on that piece of paper? Yes or no?
My name is on the Exhibit 3, if that's what you're talking about.
All right.
I don't see an exhibit 3, Your Honor.
Exhibit 3, I see 4.
Are you able to post it up, Your Honor?
I am Exhibit 3. I'm able to. I can share my screen.
Okay, so that's exhibit 3. And again, where was the picture? You forgot to conveniently include the depiction of what was actually sent with that email.
Yes, my name is listed on that email, sir.
That wasn't the question, Ms. McNair, and you do this. Again, Your Honor, we have a history of this is something she does all the time. Okay, this was the recommendation, the form that was in that email. So you are intentionally withholding additional information to go ahead and make this claim that Mr. Pinkney is harassing you.
Yes, he's harassing by sending unwanted emails. I did not want him to send me this email in Exhibit 3.
Sure, nobody wants anyone to send information that they have a bar complaint against them.
His motive is not my issue. The fact that
it is. You're saying he's harassing you.
Yes.
You're saying the case is clear for purposes of reasonable person for fear such as person's safety or the safety of a member of his or immediate family. This has to do with the issue with the bar. What does Mr. Pinkney have to do with that? There is no correlation. No correlation with the case you have in the bar with him harassing. All he said was, I enjoyed reading this. And again, the portion in which was in the email does not even mention you by name.
Let me ask a couple of questions. I need
Yes,
to
Judge.
know, has there been a TPO sought in this matter?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And when was that sought and what was the result of that?
It was dismissed because the notice did not get to us, and when we logged in, the court stated that we could not proceed it, so we had to refile it.
All right. And I'll notice I'm looking at your exhibit 1, and it looks like so has this been going on since
Yes, Your Honor.
2015?
This has been going on since we had
Let me finish.
back in November.
Let me finish the question.
I apologize, Your Honor.
It is Exhibit 1, Ms. Mignot, it says August 28, 2015. Please advise that the DeKalb County Police has already issued a criminal trespass warning to you and all your agents. If you have a post survey report, please provide it ASAP so I can deliver it to my surveyor, and that he has not completed his report to date. If you or your agents want to use this utility marker to trespass my property, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of law. This is your final warning. Once again, thank you for your continued and candid admissions. Question is your legal department the Hispanic man who ran through the fence first, or the Asian man who tried to beat him through it when the police arrived? I need to know to whom I should send all future correspondence. And that's Marcia Minot, the Minot Law Group, LLC. Okay.
Your Honor, that was, again.
I attempted, Your Honor, I attempted to go into that, and the court instructed me not to.
Hold on, let me
May I speak, please?
listen. Yes.
Your Honor, that was in reference, as I mentioned, we had a trial back in November. What she is sending there, that was in reference to that case. So as far as what we're talking about today, that has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Because that was back in 2015.
Okay, so what happened? Okay, kind of walk me through, Ms. Mignot, what happened in this case between Mignot Law Group and Milo Pinkney and Richard Levy that happened in the DeKalb County Superior Court that you have as Exhibit 2?
Your Honor, you excluded it, so am I now permitted to talk about it? Because I tried to originally.
No, you got in your exhibit, so I didn't have your exhibits.
Okay. So what happened is they trespassed on our property, Judge, when they arrived in 2015. We shared that, we contacted the police. We've been contacting the police on these people since their arrival. So I'm trying to show the court in context the history of harassment that we've tried to ignore that is not going to stop unless.
Are you also going to mention the times in which you caused?
Your Honor, if you look at Exhibit 2.
Mr. Maxwell, no, we're not going to do that. Okay.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Looking at Exhibit 2, Your Honor, we sued them for the trespass and we won a verdict against them. So that has upset Mr. Pinkney because we won the verdict against him. So now the harassment continues. Exhibit 2 depicts that we had a civil proceeding in the Superior Court and we won a verdict. So I was trying to show the court the motive behind the harassment, and that it's not just some independent person sending an email to me. It's someone that knows I don't want them to contact me for any reason, still harassing me and violating 161139.1. That's what happened in the Superior Court. And I was trying to give the court context by including it in the exhibits. And it's depicted in Exhibit 2 to show the court we won the verdict. And then in June, after winning the verdict, I start getting the harassing emails. Then I call the police talks to him. And although the police talks to him, you'll notice that what he says is the cops came over here and I don't care. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you exactly what I told the cops. It's not harassment to keep sending you emails that I've been advised are unwanted. So he continues to violate the misdemeanor statute of 161131.9, Judge, because it says a person commits the offense of harassing communications if such person contacts another person repeatedly via telecommunication, email, text, messaging, or any other form of electronic communication for the purpose of harassing, molesting, threatening, or intimidating such person or the family of such person. I can assure you that Mr. Pinkney was not sending me his email depicted in Exhibit 3 to welcome me to the neighborhood. He was doing it to harass me.
Okay. All right.
Your Honor, for clarification, counsel is stating that they won the verdict. Yes, the jury verdict was in their favor. However, that case is on appeal. So her definition of we won is still until the appeals court has made their decision. That's not an accurately definitive response. So let's just make sure we are clear on that, because counsel tends to fabricate.
Judge, this man tried to have a collision with me. I'm
So-
coming to
so-
my office.
All right.
Again, Your Honor, for further context, I'm glad you brought that up, Ms. Winier, because in that trial, you also had mentioned that Mr. Pinkney was also threatening you and was causing additional distress. And the video in which you submitted to the court as evidence was Mr. Pinkney walking on the other side of the property, minding his own business. So this whole thing of he tried to intentionally hit you, there's no credibility for that, because we've already seen historically, repeatedly, that you will exacerbate whatever is actually the truth. So you saying, unless you have somebody else that was there, unless you have a camera showing that actually did happen, your word, Ms. Renee, given your history, to exaggerate what the reality does not stand.
All right. I'm about ready. I've heard what I think is enough in this matter. What I know is enough. Ms. Mignot, I noticed that you did send an exhibit of a vehicle, but unfortunately, that has nothing identifying on it. So that evidence is not considered at all within the context of what we're doing right now. I want to let you know I did review it, did see it, but there was that had, I don't even see a picture of a video of someone actually getting into the vehicle. It looks like it may have caught something, but it just caught a black Tesla riding, or black or gray Tesla riding by.
Your Honor, it was only supposed to be corroborating evidence of the date and time listed in the affidavit to show that he wasn't.
Right, but I understand what you're saying, but you have nothing independent to show that was him, okay?
And that's fine, Judge. The emails are sufficient sent to me to harass me. The emails that are being sent, the fact that law enforcement.
Hold on, Ms. Mignot, let me finish saying what I'm going to say, okay?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Okay, so I do find there's sufficient probable cause to issue a warrant for stalking and harassing phone calls against Mr. Pinkney in this matter. I find that, as I told you earlier, this is only probable cause. This is a very low threshold. This is not beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's more likely than not that the matter may have occurred. And in this situation, I find that it is sufficient evidence that has been presented, that has been provided by the complainant in this matter, that there is a stalking and harassing phone calls. So as a result, I'm going to issue a warrant for stalking and harassing phone calls.
Your Honor, this is, again, in context, the date in which she responded.
Mr. Maxwell, I'm going to issue a warrant for stalking and harassing phone calls. Okay. All right. Like I said before, let me just say this. I understand what, and you both did a brilliant job, but the problem is this is not trial. And this is not, beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a very low threshold. This is probable cause. Okay. More likely than not. Okay. And, I've been practicing law for 27 years, been in this court, been in the juvenile court. So definitely have had understanding what probable cause means. And this is more likely than not that these actions occur. So as a result, the court is going to issue a warrant for stalking, and also a warrant for harassing phone calls. And both of those warrants, the
Phone call. I don't understand how you could.
the warrant, the stalking, the bond for the stalking will be $1,000, and the bond for harassing phone calls is $500, for a total of $1,500 bond in this matter. Okay, what needs to happen, Ms. Binyard, is that you need to come down and sign the actual warrant, and which will allow us to go ahead and effectually place this matter into the system. Once it's signed, I will sign it. And then after that, Mr. Maxwell, the clerk can contact we'll contact your client, or you, more likely, because you didn't file an entry. Did you file an entry appearance?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll contact you. If you can put your number in the chat, the clerk's office will contact you for you to contact him. He has to turn himself in within 1 week of her coming to sign that and me issuing that warrant. Okay.
Your Honor, but there were no phone calls that were made.
Like I said, here, let me give you this right here. Harassing communication. It's not even phone calls. It's called harassment communication. It says it's 1611-39.1, harassing communication. If such person contacts another person repeatedly via telephone communication, email, text message, or any other forms of electronic communication for the person harassing, molesting, threatening, intimidating such person or family of such person. That's what it is. Okay. And that's under the 2022 code. So it's not harassing phone calls, it's harassing communication. Okay. All right. Does everyone understand what the direction of the court has given?
Understood, Judge.
Okay. And Mr. Maxwell, we will make sure you put your number in the chat. So you did, so she can call you. Okay.
Yes, and I also have his email address since it was on the email.
Okay.
Attorney Marcia sent out. So to both of you all, I will be sending out emails to let you know the procedure and what to do when you come down to sign the warrant, and it'll have a date on it. Normally we give to the end of the week, so you'll have until Friday to come down and sign. And then after it is signed, I also send an email out to Attorney Maxwell, letting you guys know when to and how to, come to turn in. So we make sure everything is done correctly, so it won't be extra time having to be spent and things of that nature. But I will be in touch.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All parties may be excused.
Thank you,
If it's
Judge.
not up by the end of this hearing, these hearings, we're gonna have to probably reset your court case. Is that what you normally do, Miss
I mean,
Clerk?
to me personally, I don't want to reset it because
Mr. Bracy? It's
no,
gonna
I'm
be reset unless you got a video.
okay, because I'm willing to work out whatever case. I don't have no problems with Mr. Wombo.
One second, Mr. Bracy. In order to go forward with the hearing, as far as being on Zoom, we do have to have your camera working.
Yes, I
Hold
understand.
on 1 second. In order to go forward. So that is what he's talking about as far as the reset. So if you can't get your camera working before the end of the hearing, or by the time he has gotten done with the last case, then we will have to reset it due to that. So just work on that while we continue on, and then he'll be back to you. Okay.
Now,
just let you know, my battery is at 6%, so I'm trying.
Okay. Hopefully. Plug up.
Sorry, you got to probably plug up somewhere. And you said, Mr. Joe Fat, Mr. Wamba, and you guys didn't want to go into a breakout room and have a conversation, so that's why we have to wait till your case is called for a hearing. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Are there any witnesses in this case?
No. Oh,
Yes, I have witnesses.
All right. All right. Tell me, since if the burden is on Tiffany Butler.
yes.
All right. So Ms. Butler, please tell me what's going on.
Okay. On May 16th, 2023, I received a phone call to my cell phone from Quenisha Butler. She was proceeding to have a hostile conversation with me about.
Please make sure, hold on. We're all parties that are not testifying at this moment. Please put yourself on mute, okay? Thank you.
She proceeded to have a conversation with me, a hostile conversation about some young kids having sex, one which happens to be my nephew.
I'm sorry. We have witnesses here, so I needed to make sure before any and all testimony is given, who do I need to put in the waiting room? Because so I just need to make sure. Miss Pinkney Butler, do you have any witnesses that are going to be testifying in your case?
Just my daughter. She's 14 now.
Okay, so she's going to have to go into another room.
While you testify.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they didn't invoke the rule of sequestration, go ahead and go to another room. Upside down, Miss.
Yes.
Butler. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, she called me on May 16, 2023, proceeded to have a hostile conversation with me about some kids having sex and a little sex ring. One happens to be my nephew, who happens to be the guy dealing with different little girls. Their age ranges from 17 to 19. I was telling her I have no idea about it. I don't want to know. I just have no idea of what's going on. She proceeded to tell me how she cussed the girl out, called everybody, got them together because the little girl is her pretend niece that she was representing. And I was telling her they kids, like the kids, but she wanted to curse me out and get me and fight me because she said I had her name in my mouth. But what she's referring to is my nephew mom called me and she said, "Who is Quenisha Butler?" And I said, "That's my little cousin." And she was telling me that Quenisha called her at 2 a.m, cursing her out, going off to her about her kids and what she would do. And she'll have her young crew pull up and do all this stuff to her girls. And they need to get the boy because the boy, it's just a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go into it. And I was listening. She told me that she was trying to see who Quenisha Butler was because she knew that she was related to me. And she was telling me that.
What is the relationship? What is the relationship between you and Miss Butler?
Miss Butler?
Yeah, what's the relationship between you and Quenisha?
She's
Butler?
my second cousin.
Okay.
At least her witness, that's her mom. We're first cousins, but Quenisha is my second cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, so my sister-in-law was telling me that she called with all this stuff and she wanted to know which one. She was just telling me that she don't play about her kids and what she would do, to Quenisha if she proceeds to she says she's going to pull up, have her young, just a lot of stuff. So meanwhile, my mom was calling. So when I got off the phone with Sean, my sister-in-law, I called my mom back and my mom was saying, what's going on? She's panicking. She's in her 60s. Because I normally answer, but I was in this call and I said, "No, I was on the phone with Sean." And my mom said, "Well, what was," and Quenisha had this exact same word for word conversation when she called me because I was trying to explain to her what happened. So my mom called, said, "Well, what was you doing that you couldn't answer the phone?" I was where? I said, "Well, I was on the phone with Sean." And my mom said, "Well, what was Sean talking about?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "She was saying Nisha called her at 2:30 in the morning with a lot of gang related stuff and what she was going to do to her kids." And Sean was just telling me she retaliates too. So my mom said, I think Nisha needs to know. And I said, "I do too, Mom." I said, "But I don't want to get into it because I know Quenisha background. She don't let stuff go. She go very far. She don't." And I just didn't want to get into it. And I told my mom, I don't want nothing to happen to Quenisha because that's my cousin. And I don't want nothing to happen to my nieces and nephews. These are my brother kids with my dad. So my mom said, "Well, I think she need to know because it'll get too dangerous. I don't want nothing to happen." I said, "Well, I don't want to get in." So my mama said, "Well, when I talked to my mama and Quenisha's grandmother are sisters. They talk every day." She said, "Well, when I talk to her, I'll just let her know so she can pass the message to Nisha because I don't want that to happen." So I said, "Well, you do that, but I'm not getting in it." So I don't know what my mom said. I never asked her what she said. I never asked her if she called or whatever. But Quenisha called me and said that, can I say the word that she said or?
Sure. I need for you to tell me what went on.
That I'm not on that whole shit. I'm not with that whole shit. So I said, "What do you mean?" She said, y'all hoes got my name in y'all mouth. And if you're going to tell some, tell it right. And just a whole bunch of stuff. And I said, no. I said, "We wasn't talking about you." I said, "It was out of love and concern." I said, "My mom, they older. Her grandmama older than my mom. They close to 70. They're closer to 70 than 60. And they're concerned." I said, "No, my mom was concerned and she wanted you to get the message for you not to go over there and do nothing to these kids because those were Sean's kids. She will retaliate just like you retaliating for your pretend niece. These are this girl's kids and she will do the same." So Quenisha proceeds to Instead of her saying, oh, okay, I see, she just want to force this on me that I had her name in my mouth. And I was saying, no, I kept saying it. So I got off the phone with her because I saw where it was going and I didn't want it to go there. So I got off I ended the call with her, and my children was around me and they heard the whole conversation. She was on speakerphone. The next morning I was taking my son to school. I look at my messages. Here she is in my inbox. I'm not with that whole shit. Y'all hoes. It was just, I sent the whole entire conversation to you. And it lasted for a whole shift. And I kept telling her, I'm working. Can you stop texting me? And then she turned it into, you eat my ass and suck my pussy. I'm not gay. I have nothing against gays. I'm not interested in women. This is what she telling me. Then she tell me I got AIDS and herpes. Then she say, everything she was saying, she kept saying, that's on your life. Then she changed it and say, she'll say something, what she'll do to me. And then she'll say, that's on your mama life. And I sent all of it is in the messages, the whole entire thread, because I'm trying to be transparent. She called me bitch, hoes. I think I counted like 12 times in that message thread. I never called her out her name. And when I was telling her the things that she was saying about me wasn't bothering me because I know they wasn't true, she proceeds to tell me I can hurt your feelings. And so I said, well, hurt them. I mean, you think you can't hurt them. So she proceeds to tell me that she had a video of my 13-year-old daughter in a movie theater with her vagina out, and that she has this video of this guy with his fingers. So I'm trying to figure out, she said it was at a movie theater, that my daughter uploaded it and she got it in her phone, and that she will post it and hurt my feelings. But my problem with that is, I don't think my daughter did that, but if she did, the problem for me with that, my daughter hadn't been to the movies in like 6 months when she told me this. So you would have to have a porn video of this 13-year-old girl. You would have to be done possessed it for 6 months because she hadn't been to the movies. It was 6 months. She do go to the movies, but it had been like 6 months at this time. So you're possessing this. Then she sent me through text message. I guess it was supposed to have been a screenshot of the video that she was going to prove to me, because she did tell me that her mom saw it too and they watched it, and she was going to tell me, but her mom said don't say nothing, don't tell. So okay, but it's been 6 months. Y'all had this possession of this porn video, y'all looking at it, not reporting it, not saying anything. And I feel like we should protect our youth instead of putting them out there, just making it okay or using it as a weapon against somebody. Then of course, Quenisha's blocked from my Facebook. She's nowhere on my Facebook. So when I post on Facebook, I don't post about family, but I posted about my feelings, because this was a tiring day, a whole day of back and forth text messages. And all of my messages was defending myself. None of them slandered her. None of them told lies on her. None of them was get back. I sent the whole thread to you. It was all saying that's not true. She said, you need your floors done. You got to go fuck the old man for the floor. I have insurance. I own my home. That's a homeowner's insurance. It was things like that I'm saying to her. It wasn't never, oh, you got to do. No, I never did that because it's not my character. So I went on Facebook and I was saying, oh, Lord, now she said I said she, never said her name. She said I got HIV, AIDS. I posted, and I thought about it. I said, I went to the doctor. Hadn't even been 3 weeks prior to what she just said. I posted my results. Those are my results that I posted. All of the STD results, including AIDS, everything was negative. And my reason for posting that is because she's slandering me, making me look bad. And we have, by us being cousins, we have so many people in common. I don't know who she's talking around. I don't know what she's doing, but I feel like if you saying it to me, you're saying it to somebody who knows us. I don't want that out there. That's not true. So I did say, she said that I got AIDS. She said this. And I also went on to say, she's saying this is about these kids having sex. I said, it has to be bigger than this because she's going too far with it. She's including my baby. My baby's she's trying to find herself. She's 13. And then now you're slandering her. You got people looking at her like this. So she proceeded to take that post. I've been on my job for 23 years. She took that post and contacted OPS and tried to get me fired with it. And I know Quenisha did not send that post because I violated her in any kind of way, because there was no violation on there. She was doing it as another form of harassment to show me, I guess, to say, oh, I'm gonna call her job. I'm gonna get her fired, because the lady, and I know you don't do hearsay, but it's one of the exhibits in
But hearsay is admissible in these hearings?
Yeah, it's in the exhibit where the investigators over there was talking, because I work, these are my coworkers, so they have to have you on speakerphone in order to record, because they have to record too. And she was wanting, the outcome for her was to get me in trouble with the city and to get me fired. That's harassing. When you call OPS, you're wasting everybody's time. It needs to be something that I've done to you. Now, my direct line is not posted publicly because I'm an assistant of the major. I get to work. I went through the weekend. I get to work Monday. I have a missed call, which is another picture of my work phone with her name and number on my work phone. She done found it. She had to go through some hoops to get it, but she done called because I'm like, why is she calling my desk? Like now I'm gonna go back. We had 2 times worth of these messages going back and forth. The first time she did it, so then and I got home. That first time when she started this text message with me, I got home, I made a police report because I know how far she goes. I've seen it and I didn't want to be a part of that. So I went on ahead and made a police report. Sure enough, maybe 2 days after that, she started another text message with me. I never contact Quenisha first through text, never call her at all, not one time. Then my sister was on the fact that I don't understand how she's seeing this stuff because she's not my friend. She's looking through somebody's page or accepting stuff from somebody else. But my sister was on my Facebook and said, hey, sister, who's harassing you? And I said, well, I'm not going to say her name. I said, I'm not going to say the person's name on my Facebook, but I'll talk to you. Before I can talk to my sister, it's an exhibit too. I screenshot that conversation. My sister screenshots me a conversation where Quenisha done found her, done went on her Facebook page, found her, calling her out her name, calling her, you fat hoe, your whole sister started this, and you mind your business. She's threatening to fight my sister. And my sister's all the way in Oklahoma. So my sister was just asking what was going on. So it just won't stop. She called my son about the situation, about going off on, because she thought the little girl was my son's girlfriend. He said, no, that's she telling my nephew that's his girlfriend. So after she done cussed the wrong person out, she proceeds to go to Instagram and find my nephew. Still got the wrong nephew, cussed him out. And that's how she asked for their mom's number. He gave her the mom's number, then she called the mom. It's like this is Quenisha does this on a regular. She's like made a career out of harassing, bullying, just bullying and harassing. I didn't want to be a part of it. So this is where we are, because I initially wanted to do a restraining order because I didn't want her coming by my house, doing nothing to my house, because we are family. She do know where I live. So I was trying to do a restraining order, but then I found out about the harassment portion for the warrant, just for people that does these things, what she does.
Okay, did you go apply for restraining TPI?
No, what I attempted to by phone, and that's when the person I talked to made me aware of this process. Said, and I saw that she was saying that they made the harassing charge just for somebody who just keep at you, just keep going and keep going. So I just ended up going this route.
Now, let me ask you a question. Is your daughter, who's 14 years old, going to add any more additional evidence to what's transpired that you've already communicated?
What was it? She's saying yes. I don't know what she had. What is it? Oh, the recording? You can go get it. Yes, she have a recording. Hurry up because we're on time.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff, what I'm telling you, is actually in the text thread. Right here. We don't have to listen to the whole thing if you don't want to, but it was just the way she was feeling after the rumor was made about her.
And I lost right before my understanding that the minor was going to testify. Is that right, Ms. Butler, Tiffany? You're on mute.
I placed them on mute.
Okay, yes.
Okay, all right. What is it you want to tell the court?
The night that my brother told me what she said about me, he told me that she told her grandmother about whatever video that she was talking about. So I called her grandma to let her know that that's not true. That's not what that never happened.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, well, don't call my mom.
we-
Don't tell my mom because I know this because they told me this. So my mama don't know that I know this, okay? So,
Who is
I
this?
have a boyfriend, right?
This is my aunt, which is Quenisha's grandmother,
But it's not like that.
who
Like,
my
Who-
daughter had a conversation.
Okay, who, I'm sorry, who is that? Who's that? Why is she talking?
She had a conversation with her great aunt, which is Quenisha's grandmother,
Okay.
about how it was making her feel.
Okay.
And
But
that's
right-
all it was. We don't really
Right,
have
but
to
what is
play
it?
it.
What was being played?
It was just a conversation with her saying that hurt people, and that Quenisha does this all the
that's not
time.
No. Okay. All right. All right. You have any more evidence, Ms. Butler, Tiffany?
No, all the evidence I have is actually, I sent it to you to the court email, but I
Okay.
don't have any more here.
Okay. All right. Okay. Ms. Quenisha, you have any evidence or testimony or
Yes, I
you
do.
want to say
I have-
cross-examine?
Yes, I have a testimony and I have my witnesses that I have. Hold on, my son is right here. Do me a favor, go in there and go sit down, okay? Okay. So the speaking day that she's speaking of is really irrelevant. My niece, her nephew, they were having sex and his girlfriend threatened my niece. So when she threatened my niece called me and was like that the girl was outside her house. So I called the girl and was just like, my niece is 17, you need to really just pick on somebody your own size. Like you picking on a 17-year-old that's just turned 17. The girl was 22. So at the time I'm 29. So I'm like, why are you picking on a 17-year-old? You know what I'm saying? That just turned.
But what does that have to
17.
do with Ms. Tiffany Butler though?
Oh, yeah,
What does
no,
that have
that's
to do
what
with
I'm saying.
Tiffany Butler?
Yeah, what she was just explaining was what happened. The situation she just was explaining is what I'm talking about. She was talking about that situation with her niece and they was having sex, which really has nothing to do with me and Tiffany. So as when I text her, she probably sent it all in. I only contacted her one time. I only called her one time. I sent her a text and told her, I said, I'm not on that whole shit. If you can read the threads. I felt like as a cousin, you should have called me and you should have talked to me about what was going on. But instead you went to other family members to talk about me. And we were doing like we always do. It's been plenty. My mom and my sister are witnesses. She does this to everybody in the family. My mom and me, we have screenshots of her screenshotting, going on Facebook with our aunts, with our cousins. She does this all the time. When in the messages, if you read them, we both were going back and forth. She never told me not one time to stop texting her phone or calling her phone. We literally were going back and forth. I'm married. She called me a married hoe, said I got my house through hoeing. Basically, we were saying the same things to each other, and you can read the messages. I have the messages too. We basically were saying the same things with each other. She's my cousin, so in my defense, us going back and forth with each other, it was very nothing to me because I'm going to say things to her.
Miss Quenisha, did you see the Quenisha, Miss
Yes,
Quenisha, did you see the evidence that she submitted? Because it wasn't going back and forth. It was like Facebook messages that were being conducted where you were having conversations with or making posts about her to her sister and what have you.
Post about her. I never made any post about her, period. None. If it says Nisha McLean, I never made any post about her, period. Not one time. I messaged her sister on Facebook because I felt like, why are you getting in me and Tiffany's business? Like, you're not even her real sister. Let's be honest. She doesn't even know if that's her father. She calls them her sisters, but them are not her real family. Let's be for real.
That's my dad.
But listen, I'm not getting into that, okay? So you guys can hash out whatever family situation you got out with that. That's not what we're here for. We're here for basically what has been alleged is harassing communication. So I need for you to stick to those things, okay?
Messages that she said, the only reason that I went to her job because I felt like you have a very high position with the Atlanta Police Department. Why are you on Facebook every time you have family drama, taking it to Facebook? That's unprofessional, and you're on company hours. Why are you doing that when it could have easily? And I called her. My mom can tell you this. I called her to try the next day to be like, you know what? I went too far because I should have never took it there with you.
I never got that call.
I was going to call her the next day and say what I said, but when you go all the way down in the messages, she questioned my parenting with my 3 beautiful boys. So when she questioned my parenting, I said to her, I said, you shouldn't question nobody parenting because it's a video of your 14-year-old daughter getting fingered in the movie theater. My mother is a witness. Me and my mother both.
Well, you realize you just,
I want
you to be understanding what you just admitted to. You admitted to a crime. Okay?
Mhm.
You went, that's a crime.
Mhm.
You guys are watching underage people engage in a sexual activity. That
And
is a crime.
Your Honor, I said something to, let's be honest, because my mom will tell you, I said something to her daughter about it. She does not know this.
Come here.
But listen, this has nothing to do. But what I'm telling, I'm not here, but I'm just letting you. Let me caution, because this is getting way out of hand. Okay.
She never talked to my daughter about that.
It
My
doesn't
mom
matter.
is a witness.
Miss
My
Butler-
mom is a
Miss
witness.
Butler, Tiffany.
Yes, Your
Kanisha,
Honor.
that has nothing to do with this matter right here. This is about harassing communication. And
Yes,
that's what we're gonna stick to, okay?
yes.
Yeah, there was no harassment, text messages, or calls, period. I called her one time and we were going back and forth in the text message. The other message that she had saying I called her lying, that's not true at all. My number, if it did not come from that number, it was not me, period, at all. Because I never contacted her no more after that, because I did feel bad that I was in the messages going back and forth. She will know this. I grew up, she raised me growing up. She was my favorite cousin. Literally, the only person that would do my hair. I stayed with her for years. She was my favorite cousin. So the next day, I did feel bad about the situation. But for me and you to have an argument as family, going at it as family, and then you try to put the police on me when you know me and you do this all the
You
time.
tried to get me fired. I've been working for 23 years.
It's not
23 years of my life, and
Hey,
you want to
listen.
get me
I'm
fired.
sorry, y'all.
See,
Okay. So
this
it's
is not
only
gonna
gonna
work.
be one at a time, and I'm gonna have to.
Listen.
Okay.
I just had the conversation earlier, okay, about how this was going to be conducted. All right. So, Tiffany Butler, you said what you said. She was quiet. She was quiet. Okay. You presented your evidence, and it's time for her to present whatever she's going to present. And I want you to give her the same respect she gave you. Okay. All right. All right, Miss Butler, Quenisha.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So go ahead now.
Yeah, so like I was saying, it just hurted me that me and her even had to get into it the way we did. And I'm not thinking, okay, we had a regular, I'm like, I'm going to see her soon. I'm like, I'm just going to apologize when I see her. But when I did have the conversation with my mom, when we seen the video, this happened early this year. We seen the video last year. I didn't have the video. I seen it on Instagram. And I said something to her daughter about it. I said, don't upload stuff like that on Instagram, whether she wants to tell her mom the truth or not. But my mom is a witness that I did
Okay,
say
listen,
something.
okay, I got you. I'm here with that, but I'm here. All I'm here about right now is harassing phone calls and repeated phone calls, or harassing
So
texting.
there was no
or
reported
emails.
phone calls. It was one phone call where I called her, and like she said, she hung up on me. So when me and her was in the text messages texting, we both were going back and forth. If you read the messages, she was saying very nasty things to me, but she sent the messages to y'all. But I have
problems with this thing.
Yeah, I have them too. So you can read the messages for yourself. We both said nasty things to each other.
Hold on 1 second, you all. It looks like he's kind of frozen.
I can't hear anything.
I'm just trying to figure out where I am. Okay. All right. Listen, I've reviewed the evidence that has been submitted, Miss Tiffany Butler, and listened to some of the stuff that's going on. I don't find there's enough probable cause to issue a warrant at this time for harassing phone calls or harassing.
Froze again.
What's going on in my system? But did you guys hear what I was saying?
No,
Yes, sir.
I didn't.
Okay, I find that there's not enough probable cause to issue a warrant for harassing phone calls in this matter. It's because both equally was a lot going back and forth between both parties.
Can I say something?
Well, no.
Okay.
It's a lot going back and forth between both parties.
But
okay?
I never threatened her. I was defending.
Harassing communication. I don't find it. I think, but this is a family situation that you guys got going on. I think it's equally on both sides is some issues. So right now, there's not enough because and the warrant will not be issued. Okay, all parties are free to go.
Thank you.
Judge, I know it's over, but can I say something?
No,
Said
ma'am.
she's go-
I'm sorry. No, ma'am. I'm
She
sorry.
lied
Case is
big
over. Thank you.
time. She
Next
lied.
case is Desmond Way and Tanisha Thomas Way. And Desmond is the complainant in this matter, and the Tanisha Thomas Way is the accused.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. And I may be going in and out. I don't know what it is. It says my situation is unstable, but I got full bars on my laptop. So don't know. And unfortunately, this is not the only area is at my office too, which is in Tucker. So I'm not sure what it is. It was in Atlanta, I'm sorry. But okay, kind of tell me what's going on. Mr. Desmond Way.
This has been all right. This has been an ongoing issue between us for the past few years. But recently, back in May of 2023 this year, she pled guilty to the charge of violating restraining order.
Okay.
So the next day, May 3rd, she goes down to the police precinct in South DeKalb Mall, South DeKalb, and files a report said that I falsified information. And she went down and took out a warrant for my arrest. And I received the email on that day on July 17th, in regards to me having to come to court for a hearing that was scheduled for August the 7th. Went to court August the 7th. Everything was thrown out because she had no proof of anything or stating anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, I've been going through this with her, and I'm just very tired of going through this with her because she has already pled guilty to violating, to doing these things to me. And then to go back around and sit and say that I'm lying when you've already admitted to doing the wrongdoings. Then try to drag me through another court hearing trying to get me arrested on the false pretenses. I have went down there and talked to several police, the police who filed the report initially, who advised us on getting the warrant. I've already talked to that person, and that person ended up amending the police report. And on August the 31st, I went down and spoke with another police officer, and they gave me the report and advised me on to file a warrant against her for creating a false report.
Okay. All right. And that's why we're here.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, Miss Tanisha Thomas Way. Yes, ma'am. What did you want to say? All right.
The incident that Mr. Way talking about that I admit to being guilty was an arrest warrant that I had for my arrest. And it said when I went for the bond hearing that Friday morning, it said that it was for texting and calling him and his new girlfriend. Me and Mr. Way are married legally. So the incident he's talking about that happened that I filed for, I think it was on May 2nd or May 3rd of this year. I talked to the detective Panoski, I think that's her name. It's also I uploaded I sent the police report as well as the TPO, not the TPO, but the consent 3-year protective order.
Yeah. So was the consent protective order was that had filed against you, correct?
It was correct. No, it was because it was a 12-month order because we both had a TPO against each other, but I dismissed mine. He kept his.
Okay.
And come to find out, Mr. Wade don't have custody or visitation of the kids. And since Mr. Wade found out that he didn't have custody or visitation of the kids, I've been having defects coming to my house, police report after police report. And it's been ongoing since the divorce been started and the TPO.
Okay.
And so when on the May 3rd, the incident he's talking about, when I talked to the detective, she told me that I need to contact magistrate court to see anything that they can do to help me because Mr. Wade have filed numerous police report and only filed one police report against him.
Okay.
And that was the one that was May 3rd.
Okay. Okay.
And so she said, because she was trying to figure out why did one person have so many police reports from against them from one person, and there was no evidence that Mr. Wade had, because I was only arrested for the arrest warrant that was for the texting and calling his new girlfriend, which was in 2021, I think, and I got arrested. It was 2000. I think it was last year because I got arrested last year. And I wound up getting on probation since I pled guilty. I wound up getting on 12-month probation.
Okay. Well, it seems like I do have a lot of information here. Like there was a hearing that was done. The case before the court on 8/7/23 for a hearing applicant's application for a criminal arrest warrant is hereby dismissed for the following reason: no probable cause found. That was one that Tanisha Thomas Way had brought out against Mr. Desmond Way. That was ordered on August 7th, 2023. We also have there was a guilty plea that you met that was made against
That was for the arrest warrant.
Tanisha Wade. That was a guilty plea for violation of the family violence order. That was done. Okay. Go ahead. Keep talking, Miss Way. I'm sorry.
So she was trying to figure out how one person has so many police reports against them from one person, and I never filed anything against them except then. That was the only time. And then when I filed that, the case did get dismissed because the judge said I didn't have enough evidence. It wasn't enough evidence. So after that had got dismissed, Mr. Wade came and filed another police report. That was for the one, I guess that's for this case now, saying that I falsified and fabricated information. But I'm trying to figure out, how did I falsify or fabricate anything when this police report stating that you have police reports against me and nothing have been done about it. So it's like you have no evidence. You just keep having the police and defects coming to my house.
Okay. Mr. Wade, you have anything else you want to say? You're under, please be mindful that you still are been sworn in there. And so probably want to it would be abundance of caution. Just go repeat what your allegations are and what has transpired, if you could.
Yes. Like I said, she briefly, she went over it. Like I said, I have a 3-year protection order against her. And on May 2nd, she pled guilty to the charges of violating the protective order. As far as the police reports go, I have talked to several detectives. There be Detective Hay and Detective Panosi. They have sent emails stating her to leave me alone. That's why I have so many reports, because they have given her chance after chance to leave me be. So we have pushed to the point where I have to defend myself and go through these lanes to protect myself. And that's what I'm going to do. On May 3rd, she went down there and filed a police report that took out a warrant against me. I received the email for notification to come to court on July 17th. I went to court on August the 7th. The charges were thrown out. So I went down. I waited till I got dismissal letter from the court. I went down on August 31st, and I spoke with another detective. I explained the situation to her, what I've been going through with her, and the detective advised me to go ahead and take out a warrant because of what's happening with the proof that I've shown. I have a 3-year restraining order against her. She has a guilty verdict against her, and I haven't done. I keep my distance from her. She stated that I harass her. I harass the kids. Like, I haven't done anything to her. My restraining order only includes Tanisha Thomas, not children, just her. She has been advised.
So what are you alleging the false report? What crime? Which is that the one that got dismissed back on August?
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm going back. That's what because she, like I said, she pled guilty, then went down and said that I fabricated everything, and I'm trying to figure out how could I fabricate something that you pled guilty to. Like I said, we've already went to court over this. They threw everything out. Like I said, I'm tired of going through this because this is beyond stressful, having to wonder what is going to happen to you next because somebody want to make up false allegations.
All right. What I'm going to do is that what's the stage of your guys' divorce?
The divorce is.
We just went to court. We went to divorce court, I think, last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. And what happened? Oh, y'all has divorce been granted?
No, not yet.
No.
When was it filed?
Almost a year ago, like around last August of 22, because I filed for it.
Based on the information that's been presented today, I do find there was a false report of a crime, and there's sufficient probable cause for it. And so therefore I will issue a warrant for false report of a crime.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
The police report also is listed in there where where is no false report where Mr. Wade have filed, where it states in the information that I talked to the detective.
Okay, what
It's
I'm
in-
gonna do, Miss Wade, this is the problem. The problem with probable cause is not a very high threshold. Okay, despite what happened in your previous case, it was not a very high threshold. So obviously that court didn't find it was sufficient enough evidence in order to go forward for you to go forward with probable
No, I
cause.
uploaded today.
But however, in this situation here, I find that there's been just a pervasive pattern of behavior here, and and unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where it is right now. So I am going to issue a warrant for false report of crime, but I'm going to give you a signature bond, which means that all
Okay.
you have to do is sign yourself out. Okay. So, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
So basically, Mr. Wade, you need to come down. When do you give them to by the end of the day on Friday? Is that correct?
Yes, I'll send you an email in just a moment. But yes, you'll have until the 20th to come down and sign. If you haven't signed already, I know they started something new, but if you haven't signed already, then you'll have until Friday to come down, sign the warrant, and then Miss Way, once the warrants have been signed, you'll have until the 27th to come and turn yourself in. But all of that will be in an email I will send out in just a moment. You'll have step-by-step instructions on what to do.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Both parties are So it excused.
Mm-hmm.
looks like Mr. Mantra, actually, I guess he timed out Mr. Wambu because he said he only had 6 minutes worth, 6% worth of phone.
Charge, yeah, phone charge.
Yeah.
But that was about an hour ago. So
Oh, he tapped. So that means, I don't know what happened and I don't know where his situation is, but he was on. We got to give him that credit, but he couldn't get on the thing. So, Madam Clerk, can we reset this?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Your Honor, I think he was just being slick.
Maybe so, but I can't take that precaution because he was on in the beginning. He was on when the court case got first called.
Yeah,
So-
but he had ample time to charge his phone the whole time, the whole duration.
Listen, Mr. Wamba, and unfortunately, I'm not going to allow you to be in a position to be in his position. That's not how it works. So, okay.
Yes, sir.
Looks like there is a little room on the 6th. That's not gonna be enough time. Because we still have to mail it out. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So the 13th of November, let me verify that again just to make sure we don't have too many people on the calendar.
Please
Hold
make
on.
sure there's not a lot on the calendar.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to make sure right now. 1, 2.
And it may not be me, but it may be somebody else.
Right. Right now for the 13th, I only have 4 people. So 4 cases. So I
Okay.
can schedule at least 1 to 2 more.
Okay.
So the 13th would be more feasible. That'll give time for court mail and all of that kind of stuff.
All right. So we're going to reset this to 11:13 at the same time, which is going to be 6 p.m. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I believe that ends our calendar for tonight. Miss Hattie, never came back, did she?
No, she didn't. Mr. Wamba, you're excused.
You're excused.
Okay.
Mr. Wamba.